Welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we're back with Mr. John Ernstberger.
In the Den of Thieves, baby.
The Den of Thieves. But we brought over Mr. Brock from the Bourbon Bar.
I know. I have to come visit every now and then.
That's right. And then Jared, what's going on, brother?
Hello. Welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. My name's Scott Minton, and I like to... Never mind.
I like to do lots of stuff.
I already said something taken out.
I do like to never mind. I'm going to leave it in there. I don't care.
I should have been like, and I like to beep.
Anyway, we are going to taste through the most recent set of releases, and this is going to be a couple episodes. Well, I guess they're not all technically
Releases
this
of what?
year's releases.
They're not all this year's releases, but some of them are.
But I guess they call it the Black Friday beer release.
Yes, this is the Black Friday beer. This is Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout releases. We have on the lineup, we have the 22 regular release. We have last year's Elijah Craig release, which is aged 1 year in Elijah Craig small batch barrels, and then aged another year in the Elijah Craig toasted barrels. The third one we're going to be doing is going to be the 2019 release of the Stout finished in Rittenhouse rye whiskey barrels. And the fourth one is going to be the 2021 release of the Cherrywood variant.
Damn, this Goose Island is good. The first one,
Holy crap.
man, it's got some caramel. It's got some rich stout, like that nice malted flavor in there. And then it's just the perfect amount of hops for a stout. Like it's got a little bit of hoppiness, but not very much
See,
at
I don't
all.
get much at all.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the perfect amount. I bet it's probably like 20 IBUs. It's probably in that ballpark.
Yeah, it's really low IBUs. But the thing that I've always enjoyed about stouts is just that chocolatiness that kind of lingers after you finish.
So an IBU is an equivalent to...
It's integral bitter units, which basically just tells about how much bitterness is in the beer.
Oh,
so
okay.
When you start drinking IPAs, they have a higher IBU content, and then the lower they are, typically gets into like your stouts, your porters, things to that nature, or like ciders, like things that don't use any kind of hops.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, standard beers, you're looking at maybe 20 to 30 IBU or less.
Yeah.
Right.
But anything, once you start hitting over that 30, that's whenever you start talking about your IPAs. And then once you start 60 and 70, you're talking about double IPAs. And there's even some IBUs that hit up to the hundreds, which are your like triple IPAs, which, I mean...
Dogfish Head makes 120 IBU.
Jeez.
It's like a crazy.
Thank you.
So the funny thing about it is actually with it being it's actually so hoppy that it doesn't taste hoppy. It's the weirdest thing I've ever
Like
tried.
it surpassed the level of like that your taste buds kind of
exactly.
pick up on.
You get at the point where you're like, damn, like it doesn't taste as hoppy as like some of the like 60 or 70 IBUs that I've had. Plus, they also dry hop. They don't wet hop. So there's a little bit of a hopping differential on how they do that. So it makes it a little bit different. And now I'm getting all geeked out on beer, man, and I'm usually the bourbon guy, which is funny.
But do they bunny hop?
If you drink enough of them, if you drink enough of them, they could. Those are like 16-18% alcohol by volume. They're stout as hell. So
you say that when Morgan and I were up at Fistful of Ale one time,
Okay.
they had I want to say it was a quadruple IPA.
yeah,
And when I think I did a flight just for the hell of it, and the bartender was telling me, yeah, I was like, I don't really like IPAs or anything hoppy. She was like, well, try this one, because once you get to so many different, once you get to like, I think she said 3 or 4 or whatever it was, it starts to get sweeter than it does hoppier. And so you saying that, and it was the same thing. It was actually not bad. Like, it was bearable.
yeah. So that's what kind of happens. You get to a point of hoppiness where it almost like negates some of that bitterness, and it almost creates like a false sweetness, which is kind of weird.
The other thing about it was they do the Belgian quads, like the Belgian ales.
Yes.
They are quads as well.
Yep.
They're considered quads.
Yep. You get Belgian quads, triples, and all those different ones. Which, to me, dude, nobody makes better beer than the monks.
Oh,
The old
absolutely.
Belgian monks, boy, I love that stuff.
Or
Like
you
St.
go-
Bernardus and all those guys out there. So
I mean, if you can go further back, like meads, they originate there
Yep.
too.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try
for
some
sure.
of this.
Now, mead is basically wine that's made with honey, but then they ferment it to turn it into beer. Like they bubble it and stuff.
I did not know.
Gotcha.
I've always heard mead. I just never really knew what it was.
Yeah, just
I knew it was. I
Monks
knew it
were
was
the
sort of
original
beer,
brewers.
Yeah,
mead is the OG beer because whenever you look at like things that were usable to create beer and create alcohol at the time, and especially in the Middle Ages, the most sweet thing that they had available was honey.
right.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it was one of the OGs. So
I'll have to figure out what it is, but there is a YouTube channel that's really good. It's like a living history channel, and they actually have people dressed in period accurate clothing making beer, making mead, using the techniques that they did hundreds of years ago. It's really fascinating.
Right.
I'll figure what that out.
So this first one is what, like 14.7 proof? I mean, percent alcohol by volume.
Right about there, yes.
There's some
You must get, like,
chocolate,
a little like
some maltiness.
some sort of like a spice on there,
Yeah, for sure.
like right on the tip of the tongue.
I would almost equate it to almost like a clove-esque type, some of those baking spices that kind of come through.
Because it's like hitting my tongue, and it's like popping like pop rocks
Right.
right on the tip of my tongue.
You were right, though. The hops just kind of bounce over your palate, but they don't linger there. It's very strange and really tasty.
And it's nice. I mean, I get it kind of like a velvety creaminess that kind of is left over as you drink it.
Yep. The funny thing is, I mean, these come in what, 16-ounce bottles? 16.9, something like that?
Just over a pint. They're like about 20 ounces. They're like specialty
so
bottles.
like 20. I mean, for your average beer drinker, I mean, like, this is like drinking 4 beers. I mean, that's what most people don't realize. I mean, when you start looking at, ABV and everything else, I mean, so these things are very stout, which, no pun intended.
What? Can you say that again for our listeners, Scott?
So, I mean, no pun intended for sure. So,
Well, that and the barrel-aged beers have started creating such a craze recently because many distilleries have been selling their barrels to them so they can get more money. Or they can have a constant income, of those barrels. I mean, even second and third use of these barrels tend to be good.
So I'll tell you, the one place that's super, super unique, and I don't know if you've ever tried it, there's a place called New Day up in Indianapolis. They make mead, and they do what's called a magpie, and it's called the breakfast, but it's raspberry, chocolate, and coffee, and then they finish it in a bourbon barrel, a vanilla bourbon barrel. And like, it's the craziest thing you've ever tried.
That sounds wicked.
They're like 16% alcohol by volume, but man, it's delicious, man. It's so good. But that coffee mixed in with that mead, oh, delicious. And I'm almost getting a little bit of that with this, like a little bit of a coffee flavor. So
just like a hint.
Just
like
a hint.
It's almost like an aftertaste.
I prefer that where it's not like so prevalent forward, this having that coffee, because sometimes it can be almost like the coffee, like a bad coffee grind, if it's not balanced well.
Or overpowering.
Or overpowering the actual malty chocolateness of it.
Well, some people don't like the taste of coffee, so a lot of people wouldn't like.
Yeah, it would be off-putting for some people, for sure. Like, Nick's not a big coffee guy.
I'm not a big coffee guy, but if it's just like very subtle and accentuates the flavor, it's not that bad. It's like a tiramisu. It's just like it's kind of there, but it's not taking charge.
So is the term stout just used as like a general over-encompassing term for these styles of beer?
Yes. It's similar to like a porter. You have your porters, you have your Marzens, Hefeweizens, lagers, IPAs. It's just a standard way to create the beer.
And then within this stout category, there's different levels of stout. Like you could have a milk stout or an oatmeal stout.
Yes, or oat stout.
So it has a lot to do with what grains you're using. So typically your stouts are much more heavy in different type of malts, and that's how they kind of get to that flavor profile that you're looking for. But like you
darker.
said, yeah, and then so like they'll have a chocolate malt or a chocolate, Cascade or whatever those type of things are. And then like with the oatmeal stout, like they'll have oatmeal, and then they'll have oats, and then they'll have chocolate. They'll have stout with it. Malt with it, and other things like that. So then when they make that beer, then once they ferment it, and then like what Nick said in this situation, they are finishing it in the actual whiskey barrel. So then that's what's really, really giving it that heavy pop. Because probably when they go in the barrel, they're probably honestly around 10% alcohol by volume, but they're picking up 4, 5, 6% from that barrel.
Oh, absolutely, and you still get a little bit of that char, and you even get some of that bourbon smell that you get from probably that aged
Yeah.
I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how long they age it on there. A few of them have it stated, but not many. But I would imagine it would be somewhere between 3 to 9 months.
I would say probably, yeah, I was going to guess 6 to 9 months is probably what I was going to guess. And then I bet there's probably some that like go crazy and probably put them in 9 to 12, just depending on, what brewery is doing it, I think Goose Island kind of sticks in that 6 to 9 month range, though.
Except for the next one we're about to try.
This Elijah Craig is crazy.
The Elijah Craig is actually done for 2 years.
Okay.
It is 1 year in the small batch, and then 1 year in the toasted barrel.
Ooh, okay.
I was gonna say that's weird because like it's got a little bit of like a toasted like smell to it.
Like a little vanilla.
I was gonna say
a lot more vanilla.
Vanilla. It's got a weird like marshmallow like like graham crackery type thing going on.
It's as soon as I smelled it, I'm like totally different than the first one.
Yeah,
Very much. Yeah.
And this one's what 16% alcohol by volume.
Yes, this is the highest one, 16.
You get a lot more, not a lot, but a little bit more char kind of a note
more
on
char,
there.
more chocolate.
Yeah,
It's got some more density.
I would actually hope to actually get a little bit more of that char for the amount of time that it is spent in 2 sets of barrels.
Yeah. True.
And it's dark. I mean, this is like black.
So maybe I missed
It's like
it on
charcoal.
what was the first one aged in?
Standard Goose Island will kind of grab anybody who sends them barrels.
Right.
And it could be very random. And it changes from year to year, but they try to get a bunch of barrels and do the same one for their release. They don't like to mix it up. But if they get like chances to get, the Elijah Craig barrels or the Rittenhouse rye barrels and stuff, they'll do it. They've even done last year. They did Blanton's, and also they were able to get a hold of one of the Old Forester 150th anniversary ones last year. And then the year before that, they did a birthday bourbon and a Weller 12.
Did they ever do an E.H. Taylor one?
This might be the first time I've ever said this, but I really like Elijah Craig in this situation. Wow.
It doesn't hit higher than its
No, I mean,
IBUs.
dude, no.
There's a percentage of your listeners that just fell out of their chairs listening to that.
So it's so weird. Like, it's funny. I can actually kind of taste that Elijah Craig type mash bill that's kind of in there, that like heavy rye, but like it's so smooth.
It's
like
creamy.
It's creamy. Yes, it's got so much like just mouthfeel and.
But it has that kind of that slap of hoppy right on, like, or that dancing on the bottom of the mouth when you first take a sip of it.
Oh, there's a strong chocolate note.
Oh yeah,
way
it's
stronger
super
than
strong.
the first one.
Yeah, it's a lot of chocolate. It's got some notes of what I would call.
The toasted.
Yeah,
toasted
that
comes
toasted.
so much, so strong.
Yep, it's almost like I said, it's just weird, man. Oh my goodness.
So, Jared, have I now turned you off to any other beers outside of this after having this experience?
That is no, because I could not have many of these.
Oh, these will put you on your ass.
And not even just because of like the IBU level of these and whatnot, but just because they're so hefty. It's like I can have one and like that's it. Like I'd have to go to something else. I could not drink.
I mean, the price point just for that this year's release was $13.99 for a single bottle.
One bottle.
I can go buy a case of Mick Ultra for that.
Well, it still comes in a lot underneath. What was it? The Sam Adams Utopia, which was $250.
Now the Sam Adams Utopia comes in around 23-24% though. Like they get higher.
They get higher.
Yeah, but I think the OGs were like 23-24% alcohol by volume.
Okay,
but it's beer.
Enlighten this novice over here. What
So
is
Sam Adams. So it's Utopia. So it looks like a genie bottle. Would be the best way I can kind of tell you. But like the OG ones, but that came out, I want to say were probably like 2013.
I think maybe 20, so closer to 2015 was I think one of the first within that range right there.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So Jared just got a
looking
hard
it
on
up.
over there. He's looking it up. So anyway, these things came out. It was a super cool bottle, and that was kind of the novelty behind it originally. But they also are like 750 milliliters, so it's like a bourbon bottle, but it's but literally like $200 a piece.
Wait,
so
it's a beer?
It's beer.
It's beer.
Yeah, and it's
But
like
it's 750 milliliter bottle.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's in a wine bottle or shaped like that, right? But yeah, and it's like 20-something% alcohol by volume.
So how quickly do you have to drink it?
So they will tell you
or how bad's it?
So I've had some that was like 6-8 months old and it was still good.
Okay.
but it was refrigerated, kept well.
You need to keep it dark.
Does it have, like,
Keep it
cold.
dark and cold.
Does it
Yep.
have- I assume it has like some sort of cork. I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a seal.
Do you put gas in it at that point to help keep that?
I've never known anybody that did that, but I can tell you this: I've had a couple that were that old. Most of them don't make it through the night. Usually, it's just 2 of us or 3 of us, and we just kill an entire bottle, and then we go drink something else.
If you're able.
It's just 200.
Something else.
I'm able. I don't know about everybody else. I'm able.
Wait, how many IBUs was this thing? Or percent by alcohol?
The alcohol by volume, like they run anywhere from like 23 to like 30. I mean, yeah.
I've seen it release up to 30.
That's wild.
Damn.
So yeah,
We're drinking basically half of that.
Yes,
At the-
exactly.
At the most.
yeah.
Damn.
But those things are aged for I want to say like 18 months in a bourbon cask. I mean, like they are aged, and when they go in, they're high. Like I don't know what the mash or the grain bill on those things are, but they're crazy.
Yeah, they're crafted, and that's why they go for that high price points. This is their coveted baby that
Yeah.
they take care of.
This
Yeah.
is their Old Forester birthday bourbon and their
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
This is their
Yeah.
GTS. Wow.
Yeah.
I have honest to God never heard of that
And
before.
you
in my
will
life.
you will rarely ever see them. They are such a limited release. Typically, each state only gets a handful of bottles, and when I say a handful, I'm saying like less than probably 100. I would guess.
Yeah.
See, now last year on the
We
Black
probably have to
Friday,
go to
they
Great
had
Castle.
3 at
Right.
the liquor barn I went to,
Right.
Oh, really?
and a lot of people passed on it.
Yeah.
Not really.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not you. I'm
No,
just
I
kidding.
actually passed on it because I was.
But it's
I already knew what the price points I was going to be buying that day.
I mean, at $200, I mean, you can buy a really nice bottle of bourbon, and it's going to fuck you up way more than than that bottle of beer is going to.
But for some of those beer snobs, that's like their holy grail that they
It is.
will look for.
Yeah,
It's definitely.
So what's the secondary for it? Do we buy one and then sell it?
I don't think there's not much of a secondary market on those utopias. You'll see some that will, if you find some older ones, you might find some secondary value on them just because they're so old and some of the OGs type stuff. This Elijah Craig, I mean, it's like I said, I mean, it's delicious. I mean,
It
it's
does
got
not
tons.
drink 16.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, maybe 10, 11.
I was going to say 9, 10.
I
yeah.
actually think this is a little bit smoother to drink than the first one.
It is.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree with you. But everybody's. I was about to start taking a drink, but everybody else was taking a
Go
drink.
ahead.
I was like, look
Well,
at all
I
this
was about
dead
to say,
space.
That is
Yeah.
the problem with these compared to like sampling bourbon is I feel like I'm constantly drinking the beer as opposed to the bourbon. I just kind of
Yeah, you have to.
slow down with and enjoy that a little bit more.
But yeah, no, this is super good. Like
Yeah.
immediately, I like this way better than the first one.
Yeah, everything comes through that you would assume coming from Elijah Craig barrel. So it's you get those notes, those nice notes that you wouldn't really expect to get.
Like, take that bad boy to Pound Town. I killed it. Pound Town. All right, so the next one is the Rittenhouse Rye, and it is 14.5% alcohol by volume. I wonder how long it spent in that bad boy. How long it was in that barrel? If it
I don't
says.
think it offhandedly tells me right off hand.
I still can't get over how good that is. That is such a good finish and everything on that last one.
That's what she said. I can't believe it. It was a great finish.
I was about to say that was a setup and serve right there.
Jared's going to
Game,
yell out Elijah.
set, match point.
Yeah, but the Rittenhouse Rye was actually a 2019 release. I had a local store last year still have almost a full case of these, and so I have easy access to get to them if long as nobody knows what that store that is.
That store shall remain anonymous.
Anonymous for right now, not outside of the people here,
Is
but
it
not the
just me?
podcast.
Are you getting a little toffee on this?
To me, it smells. This is gonna sound stupid, but thinner, especially compared to the last one.
Yeah,
like it smells.
I could get where you're coming off
doesn't
there,
smell
but
as rich.
But I'm getting like almost like a weird like sweet note to it. Not like typically on these things you get kind of more of that caramel, like vanilla smell.
This is different though.
But it is different. That's what I'm saying. But I can't pinpoint it. Like I said, it seems almost like it's almost like a toffee or like a maple syrupy type.
I was thinking either kind of like a maple molasses or even a partial honey.
Yeah, molasses. I think you're right there. But it's definitely got a unique, a much more unique nose than the other two.
it's thicker than the last one. It just didn't.
It smells thinner though. It smells alcohol-y. It smells
Yeah.
a little more
smells
boozy.
thinner, but tastes thicker.
All right, let me get in there and take a. Let me.
I'm not smelling it too much, Scott.
Let me
I'm
take a pull
going
on
right
it.
in and diving.
I guess so. He's like, I'm just going in.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with him.
Coming in hot.
It's not that it is very coating, but it does have a thicker mouthfeel to it. as you drink it. Now, it doesn't coat and linger as much as a couple of the others, but it's all nice right there.
A lot more spice.
Yeah, it's got some more spice.
I'm picking up more of the coffee element on this one.
Yeah,
than I did
coffee.
the Elijah.
There's some little bit of chocolate, some coffee. I think it is maple, maple or sorghum or like something like in that molasses. Like it's that rich, dark sweetness.
Now, I'm not getting much rye. I would think that I was from the Rittenhouse side of things. I'm not getting a whole lot of rye.
But you're getting the spice from the rye,
I think
aren't
I'm
you?
getting the spice from the rye. Is what I
Like
think.
that
I'm
baking
really not
spices?
getting that much spice.
I'm not getting that much.
Huh.
No. Yeah, mine's. I don't know if it's
Scott
that
and I
coating
are
and
this-
thickening.
This is the first time ever Jared and I are agreeing on something. Like we're both getting like
This will
some
be the
spice.
first and last time.
Scott's making sure he never is on the same
What did Jared
wavelength
say?
as
No,
me.
I don't believe that at all. No, but
It's the headphones, Jared.
it is. So, I'm getting like almost like some of those weird baking spices, like that cardamom, like something in that realm, like little like. And man, I tell you, it's got a super chew though. You're right, it is
You're
thick.
getting some of the hops and
The hops might be what's doing it, right? But it is a hoppier beer than the other two. Mm-hmm. I wonder what they use. I wonder if they're using Cascadia or if they're using Challenger on this.
Not sure, but I mean, I do get maybe it's not like almost like a full nutmeg, but just like a tiny bit of a nutmeg finish on it.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could
There's
see that
something
for
with
sure.
that finish that I'm just not digging.
Just this one wasn't for you.
I don't know. And Goose Island's out of Chicago, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Out of Chicago.
I'm going to say this one is just
Chi-town.
not for me.
Is there anything particular about it?
I don't hate the spice, the little bit more spice flavored forward.
I think it's the
But
hops.
there's
I think if there's
something-
just a little bit more hop to it.
There's something with the finish that really is off-putting.
I think it's the hops. I think it is.
I'll agree with that.
Like I'm guessing this is probably in the
But it doesn't
25
taste
to
like-
27 IBU range.
But it doesn't taste like, and that's what is really like. You say hops, and I'm thinking like if I'm going and drinking an IPA and getting hops.
Well, yeah, but
Like,
you're not going to
that
have
is-
that type of hoppiness to a
I
stout.
know, and that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around and get acclimated to.
There's a little bit more bitterness, and I think that's where, like I said, you're getting a little bit more of the hops, and it could also be coming from the fact that it was finished in a rye barrel, not a high rye bourbon, right?
Yeah.
And this has been sitting for 3 years.
Right, and it's 3 years old, right? Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, it was a 2019, right?
Yes, 2019.
So I mean, it's been a couple years on the bottle, but it's definitely developed some flavor. I don't know that it's my least favorite so far. I just
it is nice that they are distinctively different from each other, which is neat.
We're
Yeah.
trying to pick apart a bourbon where you're like, I don't know, they all kind of taste the same.
Now, the interesting thing is that I'm actually been holding back a little bit for that I have a vertical from 2017 to 2022
Dang, there you go.
of these, and so I'm going to invite one of my good friends over, and actually my boss at work, and he is a very big part of the Louisville beer snob community, and it's one of those things of like going, I'll probably invite a few other people over and just do this vertical from 2017 to 2022.
is he a lager or is he one of those guys that actually brew it, or is he just a beer snob?
He is a major beer snob, considering that whenever he moved, he had to rent a minivan to move all of his beers in his beer cellar.
I like it. I like it. I like that kind of guy.
Hell yeah, I respect it.
So yeah,
That's legit.
He's equal opportunity. So like say whenever he's a big Louisville fan, and so whenever
Go
like
Cards.
Louisville went to North Carolina, he made a stop at Asheville, visit all the breweries, and decided to bring a bunch of stuff back.
New Belgium and all that. Yep.
Yep.
I've been wanting to go to North Carolina.
All right.
No,
I'm
for
going to
the
polish this
Tar
bad boy
Heels,
off, and I'm going on to the next one, which is actually the one I'm actually the most excited about in some capacity, because I'm wondering if the next one came out of the actual Woodford Reserve cherry chocolate, the chocolate cherry barrels that they did. So
Really, I didn't. Was that about that time around about 2020 into 20?
Yep. It was
Okay.
right around that time they did a release on those. So I'm kind of anxious about this one. So I'm gonna let somebody else start sniffing on that one and give us a little bit of background on it, and then I'm gonna chug down this what's left of this Rittenhouse, and then I'm gonna dive in deep on the other one. So
Oh, it's a very subtle cherry nose on this, and so this is a 2020 release. It was named Cherry Wood Stout. Clocks in at 14.2.
From
ABV.
Woodford Reserve.
No, it doesn't actually say anything outright of what barrels it was. It does say some notes on the upper back, but I'll kind of keep that quiet while you guys kind of sniff and taste.
I don't really get. I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't get as much compared to the other three on the nose. If we're really evaluating the nose of a beer, which is, I know it sounds really weird, but
I'm getting some oak.
Yeah, I'm getting oak and cherry. That's what I'm
Oak,
getting.
a little bit of cherry.
I'm surprised I get the cherry because I don't have the best nose, but it's there.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's like very prominent, but it sits there.
It's subtle, yeah.
So it's more like it's not as much like your sweet standard cherries. It's more like your dark, like those rich, like almost like the cherries that you make your little cherry cocktail cherries out of. You know what I'm saying? Like the
yes,
It's like that
Luxardos and all that type of stuff. That darker cherry.
That faint hint of a cherry cordial, almost.
Yeah.
But it's not overpowering. It's not the focus of
Or chocolate covered cherries.
yes.
Like, yeah, that type of cherry, that dark, like kind of like almost bitter. That's what I'm getting off the nose initially. I'm about to dive in.
Yeah, I just dived in, and I get a little bit more of the chocolate with like a hint of cherry. So it's not quite a cherry cordial, because whenever you bite into that cherry cordial, you get the little chocolate, then all of a sudden you get the burst of cherry.
Dude, that's a
the
ton
opposite.
of chocolate on that thing. It's a ton.
Yeah, but it just that little bit of it, but that just cherry is just kind of mixed in just a little bit with that.
There's a little bit of vanilla in there. Get a little bit of like caramel. That one's delicious. I really like this one. I like this one a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to that rye that had that either sorghum or molasses, this is a lot lighter, sweeter.
Yeah, it's definitely got all kinds of stuff going on. The cherries there.
this to me is the
Chocolate.
first one I could say was like legitimately crushable.
Yeah.
Now,
And I wouldn't
like,
crush it, not at
well, no,
14.2. But,
But I'm, you know what I'm saying? Though.
yeah, I
Jared
get it.
crushes it. Jared's on the floor.
Jared crushed.
Yeah,
Jared is crushed. Yeah, for sure.
but this one brings back a little bit more of that mouthfeel, kind of that velvety feeling as you kind of drink it.
Yeah.
Is there.
100%. Yep, for sure.
Reminds me more of the Elijah Craig than it did the rye.
Chocolate, cherry, a little vanilla. And it's a rich vanilla, too. Like, I really get a lot of vanilla out of this thing.
And to me, it's kind of like a dark chocolate. It's not like
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah, for
simple
sure.
chocolate.
Yeah. No, it's dark chocolate, for sure. Dark chocolate, dark cherry.
Like cocoa.
Yeah.
As I'm drinking this, I'm liking it more. Because initially I was kind of like, I don't really get much. It's okay.
It's almost like
It is
that
what it
baker's
is.
chocolate, dark chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm liking this
Yes.
a lot
Yeah.
more now.
So on the back of it, as you guys have kind of did, it says subtle notes of stone fruit, which I'm not getting
I'm
much
not
of that
getting
stone
that.
fruit.
Well, cherry is a stone fruit,
yeah.
with all fairness.
That's
What's a
fairness, yeah.
stone fruit, Scott?
Damn it, Jared, I'm going to punch you in the nuts.
But it does say dark cherry, which I think we all agree on.
Yeah.
And light wood tannins.
Huh.
But I think I'm surprised it doesn't say much more about chocolate.
How about
in there.
delicious tannins?
delicious tannins?
Not a lot of char on this one, do you think?
No.
No.
Nope. No.
No, I mean, there's not much caramel, through it, but you get your chocolate. You get
I'm getting vanilla, though. I'm getting
Yeah.
a lot of vanilla. I mean, I don't know. And it might be the fact that, like, it's got a little bit, it's more subtle than the other ones. Like, it's got more depth.
I see this like a deep vanilla, not
Yeah.
not like that little light
Yeah.
or the scented candles type of vanilla.
It's like a
for sure.
Madagascar.
Yeah, like
vanilla.
Madagascar and vanilla. Yep, for sure. Yep. I'm picking up what John's putting down. I like it. John's our beer connoisseur. I guess we're figuring out here, man. Chug a lug.
I don't know
Every time I
shit.
turn around,
I'm just-
every glass is empty. Every time I turn around, he's
I was the guy.
glug, 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 glug.
I'm just the guy
Glug, glug,
filling
glug,
the
glug,
fourth
glug.
seat.
I know for sure, dude.
That's my
Like,
problem with that is my
You said it. I just wanted to agree.
Everybody agreed.
We know Jared's always been the whipping boy here. We love it. We love it though.
Oh, fuck.
Damn. All right. I'm gonna rank these. I'm going in.
Smelling the water. Damn it.
He's already fucked up. He's smelling water. He's like, oh god, this has got the crisp aroma of.
And I will say he's not
Niagara
finished
Falls.
all of his beers either. There's
Well, I
leftovers.
was waiting to go back and maybe see if it.
This is like Louisville Pure Tap with the slightest bit of Brita filtering.
I believe this could be a New
Smells-
Albany based water.
smells like the Sherman Mitten when I drive over the bridge. Like shh.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, literally, that's what it smells like, Scott. Shit. Drive over and I just get a nice smell of a fucking bathroom.
All right.
I don't know what the hell they did to that
I
thing.
don't know. So, all right, I'm going to rank these, and I don't know if everybody's going to agree with me. I'm going to go number 1. I'm going to go with the Cherry Wood Stout. Number 2, I'm going to go Elijah Craig. Number 3, I'm going to go Rittenhouse Rye, and then 4, I'm going to go with the Standard Bourbon.
I'll go next. I'm going to go Elijah Craig first, and then I'll probably go the Cherry Wood next. Then I'm going to go the regular Stout, and then I'm going to go Rittenhouse.
Man.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Jared.
Oh, man.
Yes.
So
The one and only time where anyone will agree with you.
I'm about to say, the Elijah Craig, it hit home. I enjoyed it the most.
It's delicious. I mean, I just, there's something about this cherry and the dark chocolate and, kind of that cocoa that's coming through on this one. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one.
Yeah, I've always been a toasted fan, so that really hit home on this one. Cherry second, the regular third. And I just think the Rittenhouse, you would expect a little bit more from it. At least I wasn't getting much of the rye. I know you guys were, but that's why it put me in fourth.
It put me third because of the spice. I felt like I had a little bit of extra spice to it. But go ahead. All right, John, you're last. Bring it up the rear.
So I'm kind of in between both of you guys. I'm going to go with the Cherry Wood first, then the Elijah Craig, then the original, and finishing out.
Gotcha.
Because I was just really disappointed that I didn't pick up more from that rye.
No, I get it.
See, I picked up too much.
So me and you agree on the Cherry Wood Stout, but
Absolutely.
But you agree with them on the other one. All right, no, I can take that. I'll take my L very graciously.
Suck it.
Suck it.
You suck it.
Suck
it.
All right, so that's our review of these Goose Island Bourbon County Stouts. We're going to do another one of these probably next week. I know Nick said he's got another lineup of these bad boys that we're going to try through. I think they're more of the specialty ones that have weird flavorings and stuff like that. So hope you enjoy these. If you have any questions, make sure you send them to bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com, or you hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or the Twitter. And make sure you hit the subscribe button on either iTunes or Spotify or whatever your favorite social or whatever your favorite podcast medium is. This is Scott, John, Nick, and Jared signing out. Peace out.
Peace.
Happy drinking.